go across to Jerusalem now. France 24's Noga Tarnopolsky is standing by. Noga, this is a bombshell shift in tone from Germany, and it follows similar statements from other G7 states. Has there been any reaction?
There's been vicious reaction from Israel. The first country to make this announcement was France, and Israel responded by via the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister by accusing President Macron of being a collaborator with Hamas terror, no less, of rewarding murderous Hamas terror by recognizing a Palestinian state. And clearly this is part of a well-coordinated diplomatic tsunami plan to pressure Israel. It's not just the UK and France and Canada and now Germany, a country with which Israel has uniquely close ties, who are discussing the possibility and the eventual necessity of recognizing a Palestinian state. But as our colleague Nick just said, the German minister is doing so on his way to Israel. He's about to arrive in Jerusalem. And we also have Sweden. The Prime Minister in Sweden called for suspending the European Free Trade Agreement with Israel. So these are all extremely serious matters. They indicate the complete collapse of Israeli foreign policy that we have seen under Prime Minister Netanyahu during this war. I mention his name in particular because Netanyahu has long presented himself to Israelis as, and I'm quoting now from his many political campaigns, as in another league, in a more elevated diplomatic league, as the one specialist who really can be Israel's face to the world. All of that is crumbling very, very quickly right now.
And Noga, I'm just curious, what are ordinary Israelis saying about this shift in tone that's coming from right around the world? Do they feel alone now?
I think Israelis feel extremely alone. The country is more and more isolated, and increasingly in ways that regular Israelis can feel. Israel has been distanced from the rest of the world during this long period of war, in part because foreign airlines have stopped flying here. It has become more and more risky to be an Israeli abroad, to be heard speaking Hebrew, has become a draw for in some cases, real violence. And remember that the Israeli Prime Minister, this same magician of diplomacy, now faces indictments from the International Criminal Court. So he can barely travel abroad. He used to be a standard bearer for Israel. I do think that it's important to remember that a two-state solution, until fairly recently, was the official position of the Israeli state. The state of Israel said, we want to live side by side with an eventual state of Palestine. It is Prime Minister Netanyahu who, in a fairly recent statement a few years ago, said, over my dead body, will there be a state of Palestine? He turned this issue into a taboo when it is almost by definition, an Israeli interest to be able to live side by side in peace with Palestinians. And now this taboo that he created is being used against him and is being used against Israel by allied leaders who were searching for some way, any way they could pressure him, now that the Trump administration appears to have decided to give him almost blanket support.
Well, we'll see if that does shift once those discussions with Steve Witkoff start. Thank you very much for that, Noga. Noga Tarnopolsky reporting there for us from Jerusalem. Now.